We are delighted that you're joining us for another podcast of Wake Up Align, and it is the podcast for chiropractors where we get to talk about chiropractic lifestyle, and topics of interest. You can contact us through our email, and that is mailbag@amcfamily.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We have another exciting podcast set up for you today. My name is Dr. Shannon McMurtry. I am your host, and I'm here with a good friend of mine, Dr. Zach Wilson. Dr. Zach, good morning. How are you doing?
Hello, everybody.
Everyone is officially greeted now. Good. That's nicely done.
I don't like to leave anybody out.
Most of our listeners are aware, some aren't, that inside of our AMC aligned family, we are doing what we're calling focal points. So every month we have a new concept or idea, something to focus on. It's a big picture type of thing. And we've had really, really good feedback from this effort. And we release these as a podcast as well, because it's not just the AMC aligned family that could benefit from these concepts. It's really anybody. Specifically, we were talking about chiropractors. We're here to inspire and motivate and empower chiropractors, but these principles work for everybody. Well, today and this month's focus is faith, specifically faith over fear. Mm-hmm. And I understand that you just recently did a presentation on this at one of our summit weekends. Is that correct?
I did.
Good. How'd that go?
I sure hope it went well. I think it's an interesting topic that I was tasked to present on. It's a pretty deep topic, I think, and one that is relevant across the board in the population, not just a problem or a struggle for chiropractors specifically, but I think everybody will wrestle with this topic at some point in their life or to some degree. So it was fun to be able to just expand on that and be able to get into it.
Most of us who've put a lecture or a topic together and taught that, we learn. We probably learn more than the audience learns. What do you think you learned? What do you think you had ahas on when it came to this thing called faith or faith over fear as you prepared?
Yeah, that is true. Every time you teach on something, you usually are the one that learns more than anybody else listening. When I was putting this together, I think it solidified a lot. Not so much as an eye-opener, but a strengthening within that topic. Mm-hmm. As you immerse yourself in that material, of course, it's hotter and heavier than you would be immersing yourself in it if you weren't having to present. It put that need of clawing through that type of material or that topic with a lot more urgency because of that deadline than if it was just an open-ended, hey, I think I'll look into that today.
Sure.
Just on my own. So it started to kind of open the pages on this type of topic as I started researching it and looking into it further and reading up more about other people's views on it, other people's perspectives on it. So I was kind of interested to know what it was that you were seeing within chiropractic, and specifically, or within this aligned family, that we thought, hey, this topic would be a good idea for us to expand upon. Do you have any insight on why that topic was actually chosen?
Yeah, because fear is one of the most pervasive things that we're dealing with internally as people, as a company, as a business owner, as a doctor. Fear is one of the most pervasive things out there that slow us down, impede us. A lot of times we don't do anything because of some perceived fear. What would they think about me? What would they say about me? What would they do? See, no one has, ever had a gun put to their head when they put together a care plan and recommended it. But in our head, we make this scenario, this what if, to be so consequential, and it's really not true. It's that fear that is just ever present and slowing us down, holding us back.
So whenever I've heard like Tom Owen say, I've heard him say it over and over, I see more potential in somebody than they even see in themselves.
There you go.
You think that's the fear that's been holding that person back?
I think that's part of it. You got identity, you got purpose, you got, belief systems. There's other things going on in there, but fear is probably the most common veil over people's face, so they can't see a clear picture of themselves. So rather than us focus on the negative, focus on the fear, we focus on how to overcome, how to get through. And the whole reason we talk about faith or faith over fear is because of our founder, Dr. Tom Owen, had a very short but very eloquent and very deep phrase that he would share with us. And it goes like this: fear knocked on the door, faith answered, opened the door, nobody was there. And what does that mean? Fear will knock on your door, fear will tempt you. But if you have faith enough, you'll open that door and there won't be any fear there to deal with, because the faith is the positive that overcomes that negative. So that's why we have this lecture, this topic structured the way that we do. We talk about the faith, the positive side, because it gives us a tool, a resource, and a way to overcome that ever-present fear that most of us are dealing with or have dealt with.
I think that's a big deal, because it wouldn't do any of us any good to have somebody guiding us along. Just here's all your problems. Here's all your problems. Here's all your problems. Good luck.
That's right. Yeah. Here's all your fear. Good luck dealing with it.
Boy, that's scary.
Right.
Good luck.
I want to equip them with an avenue to overcome. So I'd really be interested in you sharing some of your highlight moments, your bullet points, some of what you think are key topics from the presentation that you shared.
Sure. I think one of the big things was trying to help everybody gain a bit more of a different perspective on that topic. What I mean by that is, when I was thinking about this, I think, okay, faith over fear, as in, and I think this is the way a lot of people frame it in their life. If I just had faith, or if I had enough faith, I would no longer have the fear. As if faith over fear means there is a way to just not be fearful. And I think that's false. In fact, I very much believe that to be a truthism. But we will always have fear acting in our life. Now, it's just a matter of at what level, in what area of our life, and importantly, which is what I talked about a lot, was not letting that fear paralyze you, not letting the fear have such a strong grip over your actions or your attitude, because I feel like that can be something that we can train ourselves to get better with. To desensitize our psyche and our mind to that fear, to the point where it's still there, but it might not stop you like it used to.
Right.
That it may not allow you to, you may not procrastinate as long as you used to, or dread a moment of confronting that fear like you used to the point where your actions are quicker. They're more on purpose. Having faith doesn't mean that you eliminate fear.
I want to comment on that. I speak for a living. I mentor other people. For me, talking to 4 people, 400 people, 4,000 people, it's never been an issue. I know that I am unique in that. I have been blessed with not having all of that fear of public speaking, that if you look at the research or you look at the surveys, a lot of people fear public speaking more than they do death. It's optimized as far as the fear points go. Point is, I know people who've been speaking in public for years, decades, who still have butterflies that moment before they actually take the stage or whatever. So I think it's a reinforcement of your point. those butterflies are nervousness, energy, fear, whatever, but it's not holding that person back, right? They're pursuing or persevering with courage through that fear point.
Yeah, that's correct. You are very blessed to just not have that to the degree that some people do. I'm a good example of that. I speak in front of large groups on a routine basis. I speak in my community. I get the opportunity to do a health talk and presentation to equip and help the police department in my area. And so the leader of the training for the SWAT team had asked me to come and speak to the entire police department. That's a lot of people.
Sure.
He's like, you cool if, like 200 of us are there? Like, sure.
Will you bring your guns? Will you shoot me if I don't do a good job? Will you let me hold your pistol?
Just give me a taser, right? That's all I ask. That's a lot of people.
Sure.
For some folks. Like, that gets me butterflies. But over the years of just desensitizing myself to that, let's say 10 years ago, I'd have been shaken.
Right.
I would have been wetting my pants. I'd have been, clammy, sweaty palms and butterflies. And let me go to the bathroom here before it gets started. I've gotten to the point now where that doesn't hit me so hard. But when I get in front of hundreds of people, absolutely, I still have a nervous feeling.
Sure.
I still get that butterfly effect. But I sure wouldn't want that to stop me.
Right.
I have the faith and the courage to push through that fear, and it's getting easier and easier as time goes on. But the reason I do it, the purpose behind doing it in the first place, is what has helped me to have the courage. So knowing your purpose behind, for this example, speaking in public, the purpose when I'm at a summit or a seminar is to help the people that are there, to equip them, to serve them. So if I have that servant's heart behind why I'm doing it, then it gives me more of that courage to do it.
Sure.
But the faith to overcome that fear, that's kind of in a different realm. It's not just a courage, like, hey, do you have enough courage to get in front of people, or for the fear of somebody else? The list can be huge. Whatever you're afraid of, courage and faith are two different things. So desensitizing yourself by just forcing yourself into those type of situations, I think really builds your courage. But the faith side of it, though, it lends its hand to strengthening your faith, because you can start to see, I was nervous to get up in front of 350 people and talk about something. But then when it's over, you think, well, I didn't die. Okay, nobody threw anything at me. I didn't get shot.
Right.
They didn't throw me out the back door. And that starts to build your faith that it will be okay. Your faith that purpose of why you're doing it, why you've even been put there. Why did God even put you in that situation? There was a reason behind it. And it's not always for us to know in the moment, but to have the faith that He's got a plan and there is a reason, and you sure hope you'll get to know that reason eventually, right? But having faith does not mean you're just going to head into everything blindly.
Right.
Not to be ignorant about the situations that you have in life.
Yeah, your first point, a lot of clarity, working through that. I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm glad you had an opportunity to talk about that more. I saw I don't know if it was a poster or something online, but it said, fear is the reaction, courage is the response. Right. And that, because faith and courage are not the same, but they may be used together. So, all right. What's your other points?
They go hand in hand. Well, faith, we got to keep our heads about us. God did not just give us all a heart, he also gave us a brain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to use it once in a while.
Sure.
Right? So to head through life with situations and the fearful events or people or places in our life, to just blindly accept them or go into them without thinking it through, that's not what faith over fear really means to me. That would be like just this blissful ignorance, right?
Yeah. So rattlesnakes hibernating here. Hey, let me put my hand in there and just see what that's all about, right?
Yeah.
Be smarter than that.
I got the faith. I'll just do it, right?
Right.
That's ignorant.
Right.
Like, let's think it through. But being faithful, it also does not mean that you just start saying things and just being able to vocalize something and saying that you believe in something without actually acting upon it.
Mm.
That action, I think, is a huge component, because we can say we've got faith. We can say we believe in this or this or this. You know, I subscribe to that concept or that belief, but then your actions don't reflect it.
Right.
They call that hypocrisy.
Right.
And I've been taught that's not a good thing.
Sure. No one likes a hypocrite, right?
No. So I think faith also, it does not mean that you're making decisions about your fear, your actions about life, without the doubts or concerns of the outcome. That would be just carelessness or foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we should use our brain to make decisions well. Think about the outcome and have concern for that. But that's not what faith over fear really means. So, considering your situation, weighing out your options, understanding the dangers, but choosing to fight through that fear and trust that God has got you anyway. That outcome, it's not dependent on your level of faith. It's just having the faith to fight through that fear anyway. The trust in God, I think, is a key component.
You know what's fascinating about that is, because we've all had it. We've all had those moments where, I'm going to really stretch myself. I'm going to do something I haven't done before, whatever. And it didn't go well, right? We messed it up. We embarrassed ourselves. You know, it wasn't what we had hoped it would be.
That's right.
And even though the outcome didn't turn out the way we wanted, it's almost universal that we come away from that with, well, at least I tried. I'm proud of myself for doing something that made me uncomfortable, doing something that was a fear point for me. It didn't turn out well, but we're still gaining momentum, gaining courage, gaining faith, because we stepped up when it was scary and with courage saw ourselves through.
Oh, that's hitting the nail right on the head. But most people, many people that I know don't see it that way.
Right.
They see it as, I didn't get the outcome that I thought I should get. And so since that, I failed. I am a failure.
Mm-hmm.
They start talking themselves down.
Sure.
They start beating themselves up.
Sure.
And that shouldn't be the case at all.
Yeah.
But to have a mindset that the outcome is going to help you no matter what. Either it's going to be exactly what you expected and you're going to be happy in the moment, like right away, like instantly happy. Mm-hmm. Or it doesn't go the way you thought it should go. Could you have learned something from that?
There you go.
Could you have made yourself better because of that? To know next time, what am I going to do better or not to do at all, or what I should do again? And so learning from those fearful situations, you win.
Right.
That's a win. So really, I look at facing your fears as a win-win. There's never a lose to it.
Yeah, you can't always control the outcome. The outcome has too many variables. Like this policeman's function that you did a speaking engagement at. What if the PowerPoint failed? What if the electric that you were going to plug into was on the fritz? You know, what if What if there was an emergency call in town and they all had to scatter, right?
Yeah.
You've got things that you've prepared, you've controlled your effort to the moment, but sometimes that outcome is independent of your effort. There are things that you cannot control. So to make that outcome, your success failure, like grade, that's very, very dangerous. Should always be focused on, this is the action I can control. This is the effort I can control. And I'm going to learn something next time, right? Next time next time I go to the event, I'll check the outlets the day before. I'll check my PowerPoint the day before. I'll make sure nobody's robbing the bank the day before.
Put out a Facebook thing like, please don't rob banks between this time and this time on that day. So you're right. It's we always want to look at things in the short term. We seem to be such a society of instant gratification.
Sure.
So if that talk would have been flawless according to what I think the outcome should have been, and it all went according to plan. And let's say I educate and I really hit home and I really touch the lives of 10 people. And so much so that they're motivated, like, man, I really think I need to experience chiropractic for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And those 10 people, they get life-transforming chiropractic care from then on. And then I do the next health talk or the next community outreach event in my life, just like that one, because it did the right thing.
Right.
And I help another 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
But down the road, what if it didn't go according to plan? And like you said, the power didn't work and the PowerPoint flopped on me and the call went out and half of the group just scatters and leaves. And then it's awkward. And there I am standing with my thumb in the wind, right? And it taught me. And I walked away from that with 0 of those attendees wanting to experience chiropractic. And I looked at it as a failure. That's no good. If I looked at it as a learning opportunity for the future, and said, okay, wow, what did I learn? Whew. Well, I learned I better be ready for half of them to leave and be okay with that, and learn how to not let stuff like that derail my thoughts.
Right.
I need to learn that I need a backup to be able to operate with a PowerPoint or without a PowerPoint. And you start working your way through, how could I have done it better? And I learned from that, the next engagement, the next speaking opportunity, I will have been better prepared for that.
Absolutely.
And it might just, I would think it would set me up for an even better presentation the next time and the next time and the next time, so that not 10 people would get inspired and motivated to experience chiropractic, but what if it was 25 because of my improvements from the quote failed experience?
Right.
And that's only going to have a exponential effect in life, so that every time I got engaged with a group, I would be able to really connect and educate and teach and really hit home with more people than I ever would have before if it all went according to plan in the beginning. See, I think sometimes the Lord uses those experiences as our teaching moments in life. And we got to open our eyes enough to see, like, have the faith that God has done it all exactly the way He has it planned. Not the way you want it to turn out, not the way you think it ought to go, not on your timeline, not with, 0 cuts, scrapes, and bruises along the way. But He uses our course of life, and it's littered and sprinkled with all these learning opportunities that we call fearful or terrible moments.
Right.
All these learning opportunities that help, if we take advantage of them, help us to become more resilient, more thoughtful, deeper insight, more wise, and therefore you have a greater potential to make a bigger impact, to be able to fulfill your purpose to a larger degree. That's more profound to me. That's bigger. That's serving a better purpose.
We do this most of us, with our children, right? Our children are afraid of going out for the team or being at the home plate to bat or whatever, right? And we talk them through that. And no matter what happens, they make the team, they don't, they strike out, they hit a home. No matter what happens, we cheer them on. We tell them we're proud of them because they did the thing that they were afraid of, right? Riding a bike, roller skating, swimming. There's all these moments in childhood that we have fear as a child, but our parent, the person watching over us, is encouraging us on. Whether it goes well or not, we're going to get that encouragement. I wonder at what point we stop doing that for ourselves. I wonder at what point do we stop doing that and thinking, okay, now I'm an adult. Those rules don't apply to me anymore, because they really do. I've talked to so many people who've gone through things that they never wanted to go through, and they hate it in the moment. They hate it while it's happening. And then you speak to them, 6 months, a year later, follow up with them, and they actually have the perspective, that was the best thing that ever happened to me because X, Y, and Z. It's like, you're a completely different person than you were a year ago. How did that happen?
Wouldn't have had it any other way.
Exactly, right? We are so funny like that. God has a sense of humor because that's the way that we're wired. So these are really excellent points so far. I appreciate you sharing. You have anything else to share with us?
No, I don't think I do. I think it's a fun topic to open up and start to unpeel the layers behind that. So it's a topic that goes deeper than my understanding.
Absolutely.
I'm still learning. I'm still growing as a person. I have much to learn yet, but I hope it gives some encouragement to people. And I really do hope that everybody listening has somebody in their corner.
Yeah. Like
you said, like when you're away from the parents that are always clapping their hands, lifting you. I'm like, oh, that was so good how you bombed right there. Right. Like, you stunk it so good. I love you. But if you're listening to this and you're like, man, I got nobody in my life.
Ooh.
I feel for that person.
Sure.
Because I know I've got a support system to help me through those whenever I need to reach out, they're there. I got a wife. I'm blessed to have a wife that would support me through anything. Mm-hmm. I've got this aligned family.
Right.
I can lean on. I've got my own mentor, my own people, my support system within this family. And I'm so appreciative of it. So, if you already are part of this family and you feel like you need that type of support, lean into it.
Lean into it. Yeah. And if you're not part of this family, we would be happy to mentor you. Because I'm like you. I sit on this side of the table. I'm a few years further down the path than you are. I have a few more gray hairs on my face. But there's no way I sit here today becoming the person that I am without other people believing in me, mentoring me, lifting me up when I stumbled, cheering me on when I did a hard thing and it bombed out, right? Those are moments that they refined me. They didn't define me, but they refined me to become. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Listeners, I hope that you will take this subject and not think of this as the one-all be-all, but really start you a stronger journey in faith so you can have faith over fear. Listeners, I hope you have found this to be empowering, inspiring, and motivating. Until next time, God bless. Follow our show. You can share it with friends, of course, and we'd love for you to contact us at mailbag@amcfamily.com. In addition, you're always invited to attend or join us at a summit. Of course, registration is required. And we would love for you to check out the loads of free content we provide to social media every single week. Until next time.